growing human population poses a threat to nature around the world. And in Africa, the challenge of balancing the pressures of growing human development while allowing space for large wildlife populations is even greater. This is why I've chosen Africa as the continent to carry out scientific research and conservation work to address such issues and hopefully have a positive impact.
Hello, I'm Max and I'm based here in the Kalahari in Namibia, and my work is focused on the monitoring and research of black rhinos. When I arrived first in South Africa a few years ago, the rhino poaching crisis had its peak time. Standing in front of a poached rhino definitely changed my life. So from that moment on, I dedicated my life to the protection and conservation of rhinos. I work here as an ecological monitor or field ranger. So I'm looking after a lot of wild animals with the focus of the black rhino. Doing my research work here in the wildlife sanctuary, I was able to find out that black rhinos use the habitat in a certain way. It's very important to be active in the field. So that means either on foot, so that is what I'm doing quite a lot of times, driving around, or even using the horses and drones.
So we are following a rhino highway now. They have raised spurs, going straight into the bushland areas. Black rhino prefers dense vegetation with high diversity of feeding plants. So especially this area here is perfect habitat. So they can be standing anywhere now. You have to be very careful. Okay, let's see if we can get a sighting. They should be somewhere here in these bushes. There they are. You see, there they are. Okay, let's go. For identification, we need a clear sighting. So the adult rhinos, they have ear notches, so they have different cuts in the ear. So this is easy for us to identify the individual. But in this dense bushland, it will be quite difficult to get a visual. But let's see and have a look. The wind is perfect. Let's continue. She wants to move from one area to the other. That's why she's walking so fast. There she is. There, you see there. That's a female. And it's followed by a calf. It's a young male.
Got the visual, it's 9:22. It was Helia with her young calf. They were moving southwards over. So now I'm setting a GPS point of the location of the rhino. And these will be later imported to my GIS program, where I can track the movements of the rhinos. So it's actually quite a lot of work tracking the rhinos on foot, even with the cars.
I'm often accompanied by Gous, an expert wildlife tracker and member of the Indigenous Sun culture. Originally from the Caprivi, he easily identifies any tracks and signs in the bush, and I was able to learn a lot from him.
As a iemand doet, dongere dit geloof. Je weet moest die man wat de bos stampt, hij leert ook dat goed. Als je die man wat de bos stampt en je ziet, die man wat geen altijd gelopen hier. Daar is een clip ook mijn pa geleerd. Die man is zo gelopen. Hoe komt die clip op de weg? Die clip is los, dan is er, iemand gelopen is zo.
One thing he says is that you can learn the tracking. Your dad takes you out and you learn it, because you're practicing every day like you're doing maths. The more you practice, the better you get. But in this next stage of tracking, the intuitive tracking is when the experience comes in. And if you don't learn it as a kid, until you get older, you will never get it.
we got our visual, we have our field data that will be now imported to our database on GIS, and then we can track their movements, even their seasonal movements, and then we can also identify the habitat use, the habitat selection of the entire reserve. And this is what it makes so important to understand how the rhinos are using the natural environment. Okay, so now I'm just doing a track recording, what I saw in the field, what time I saw the rhinos, if I got a straight visual sighting, and the location. Okay, so now we're heading back to our main base. That was a very important rhino monitoring morning. We can import our field data to our database now, and then we will continue in the afternoon again for monitoring and patrol. Protecting rhinos as an umbrella species helps also other species to survive, as they are sharing the same environment and ecosystem.
Most of the time I'm in the field with my partner Freya. She's also a biologist and currently working on a research project on giraffes, which share the same ecosystem with the black rhinos.
Hi, I'm Freya, student of International Nature Conservation, and I'm currently doing my research on giraffe habitat use here in the Kalahari. Giraffes are one of the most iconic animals in Africa, but there was none to very little information on the population here before last year. And as numbers of the giraffes are declining across Africa, it is important to understand them in order to protect them. Giraffes here in the Kalahari can resist the drought very well, as they reach the upper layers of the trees when they are still green in the dry season. They still travel a lot every day, so they can be able to feed on the different vegetation types we can find in this ecosystem. Before my research, the giraffe population in the reserve had not been studied, so the exact number of individuals was not known, as well as the population structure. Each giraffe has a unique fur pattern, so by taking photos of their side and comparing them, I was able to identify over 40 different individuals present in the reserve. Having this kind of information available helps in understanding their movements without using any tracking devices, and also gives us insights into the social or family groups they are part of.
When it comes to the spatial analysis of the field data from the black rhinos in the reserve, I use geographic information systems to combine and visualize all the locations, allowing me to analyze the home ranges and territories of each individual. At the same time, I can overlay other ecogeographic variables such as information on vegetation, water availability, and also the reserve's infrastructure to get a holistic view on how and why rhinos choose certain areas over others. For the security of the reserve and the rhinos, we have a canine unit that includes Malinois. These often accompany us to track and monitor the rhinos, as well as patrol the entire reserve looking for any illegal human activity. Together with the dogs, we regularly check water points, fence lines, and conduct bush patrols to pick up anything unnatural or abnormal. So by being active on the ground and having a robust monitoring system in place for high-value species like rhinos, we can prevent wildlife crimes like poaching by demonstrating that we are watching every rhino and acting rapidly if necessary. Our real-time knowledge from the field also helps with management interventions, when we come across something that needs our helping human hand. Spending so much time in the bush teaches you a lot about yourself and how to behave. It also grounds you, unites you with your surroundings, and makes you appreciate all parts of nature. You learn how to be absolutely quiet, but also on alert and sharpen your senses to anticipate what is behind the next bush. Valuing nature through ecotourism, wildlife management and research creates jobs for local communities, a crucial component in supporting Africa's wildlife economy. This approach not only generates employment and income, but also provides incentives to conserve wild spaces, ensure sustainable development and maintain ancient knowledge.
So we are right on the fence line now doing a fence patrol. This is a very important step for rhino conservation and the security of the rhinos. We're just making sure no illegal human movements entering the reserve. We're also making sure that if the rhinos are coming close to the fence, what they do. This was now studied that rhinos even use the fence lines for moving from one area to the other area. Just making sure they are safe, and then you're checking if any humans climbed over the fence, seeing any tracks and spores, and if we do see something like that, illegal movements, then we are in contact with our fast response, and then getting to track them down and just making sure we are reaching the poachers before they get the rhinos. And this is a very important impact what we can do to stop and prevent poaching.
I also have to report back to the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism to give them regular updates. How is it going in the field, if there are any problems regarding rhinos or even poaching incidents or illegal human activities and so on. So I'm always in close contact with them.
So this is a baby ostrich we found a few days ago in the field. It can't walk properly and it got left out by the group. So we'll have him for a while here and hope that at some point he can go back into the wild. So this blue wildebeest was also found alone in the field. We treated his wounds here in his legs and his eyes because he has some eyesight damage, and we're currently feeding him 4 times a day with milk. Wildebeest need milk until 6 months old, and we think he's like between 1 and 2 months. So hopefully at some point he will be able to join the others outside.
Ecotourism is one of the main industries in these areas. We are combining conservation directly with tourism, because the tourists, the guests which are coming here, they bring the money and they allow us to continue our work in the field. As Mother Nature gives you beautiful experiences and life lessons, it's now time to give something back. You can support projects and NGOs like us working here with black rhinos in the Kalahari ecosystem, because every single step is a piece of a mosaic which contributes to nature conservation.
The black rhinos here on Cusicus are mega-herbivores, like the giraffes that are also present here on this wildlife reserve. And like all mega-herbivores, they are playing an important role in shaping the open savanna landscape that we can see here, which is also typical for the Western Kalahari. Black rhino is a so-called umbrella species, meaning that when we protect black rhino, we also protect the habitat of the black rhino that it is living in. And by protecting the habitat, the landscape that the black rhino is living in, we are protecting a lot of other animals and a lot of other species that are living under the umbrella of the black rhino. No, we really need to fight for black rhino. We need to prevent it from extinction because it's worth it. The iconic black rhino of Africa.